Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Hello, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. Vang, and I'm so excited to have you join me so that we can become amazing readers and writers. Now, this week it's going to look a little bit different because we're going to be focusing mostly on writing. And our focus this week is going to be on writing a friendly letter. So all of my books this week has writing or letter writing in them. Isn't that fun? Today, I want to share one of my favorite stories called The Day the Crayons Quit. And this is a story by Drew Drywalt, and it's illustrated by Oliver Jeffers. Now, this is such a funny book, boys and girls, because if you look in the story, all the crayons wrote letters to Drew. To Duncan. So Duncan wanted to draw one day, and he went into his crayon box, and all the crayons were missing. And all that there were left in the crayon boxes were letters. And guess what? All the letters said, "We quit." So in this story, you'll read all the letters that the crayons wrote to Duncan, telling him why they quit. And I think it's such a funny story because every time I read it, I think of all my crayons that I color and draw with, and I think about what they must be feeling. So this is a fun book to read. So if you haven't had a chance, go on to Sora and check it out. So let's get started with our lessons today. Now again, remember I said this week is going to be a little bit different because your teachers might be using it as a review week, and I thought it would be a great time to practice some of our writing so that we can become amazing writers. So let's start with our grammar lesson. Remember, we are learning different types of sentences. Remember that a sentence is a group of words that tells a complete thought or idea. Yesterday, we learned two types of sentences. We learned that there's a statement, and that just tells something, and we ended with a period, like today is Tuesday. I'm just telling you something, and I ended with a period. Yesterday, we also learned a question, and a question asks something, and we always end it with a question mark. So like if I said, "What time is it?" That's a question because I'm asking you something, and if I was writing it, I would have put a question mark. Today, we're going to learn two more types of sentences. We're going to learn a command sentence, and boys and girls, a command sentence just tells someone to do something. And for this one, it's a little bit tricky because we can either use a period or an exclamation point, depending on how you're saying your command. So if I just say, "Come here, please," I'm just going to put a period. But if I said, "Stop, don't run across the street," that's a command because I'm telling you to do something, but it has more feeling, so I'm going to use a exclamation point. And the last type of sentence that we're going to learn today is an exclamation sentence. And this is just a sentence that shows strong feelings, like what I just did. I had strong feelings, almost like I was yelling, right? I would use an exclamation, like if I said, "Wow, that's the best gift." You see that feeling in my voice? That's when I would want to use an exclamation point instead of a period. So these are the 4 types of sentences. And as we're writing this week, I want you to try to write these 4 different types of sentences in your writing, right? Because that's what makes a good writing, or what makes your writing good, is if you include all different types of sentences. Now, let's practice the 2 that we learned today, which is a command and an exclamation sentence. I have 2 sentences for us, and I want to see if you can identify which type of sentence they are. So help me read the first sentence. The first sentence says, I love sunny days. Did you see how I read that? Oh, and how did I know to read it that way? I knew there was an exclamation point at the end, so I knew I had to read it with feelings, and because I had an exclamation point, I knew that this sentence was an exclamation sentence. So I'm going to put the E right here for exclamation. And did you notice something else? My sentence started with a capital letter. You're right, capital letter, and it ended with a punctuation. And in this sentence, it was the exclamation mark. Now let's read the next sentence. Ready? Put away your book. What type of sentence was that? You're right, it was a command because I was telling you to do something and didn't have to have feelings. I was just telling you to put your book away, so I just needed a period. And this is what we call a command. And did you notice something else? You're right. My sentence started with a capital letter. Good job, boys and girls. Now remember, again, remember our different types of sentences, because this week, as we're writing, I want you guys to include all these different types of sentences in your writing. So let's move on into our focused writing this week. This week, we are going to be focused on writing a friendly letter. Oops, and remember, a friendly letter has its purpose. Oh, let me just fix this because it doesn't want to stay up today. So as you're writing a friendly letter, think about your reason. Why are you writing it? Are you saying hello to a friend? Are you telling someone something interesting that has happened? Are you sharing a memory? Or are you saying thank you for something? And remember, your letter can have all of these or more than one of these purposes in your story or in your letter. And features of a friendly letter. Remember, when you're writing a friendly letter, this is how you can tell it's a letter, not just a story. It has a heading, which is usually the date, the greeting, which is your dear and the person you're writing to. It uses a friendly tone. It shares ideas and events with friends or family. And it has a closing and a signature. And those are what we call our 5 parts of our writing or our letter, our friendly letter. Now today, I want to talk to you about our writing rubric. Now a rubric is what teachers use to show students what they want in their writing. So as a teacher, I'm telling you, boys and girls, this is everything that I'm looking for. And this is what we consider a score of 4, which is what we call excellent. So when you write, your teacher should be showing you a rubric, which is what they want you to do. So let's look at my rubric for a friendly letter. Remember, this is everything I'm going to be looking for when we are writing. So I'm looking for, let's see, does your letter have a clear, lively, and interesting message, right? You're not just writing lots of telling sentences, right? But it has a clear and interesting message. It's well organized, using features and paragraphs effectively. So does it go from the beginning to the shared memory and then in order, and you're not jumping around the place? I am also looking for a strong sense of purpose, and that just means, do you have a purpose in writing your letter? Do you have clear and well-described thoughts, feelings, ideas, and details? Now remember, these are all the different types of sentences. I want all of them in there, not just one type of sentence. You use a fluid, varied, and realistic sentences that simulate voice. So because it's a friendly letter, it should sound like you're talking to that person, right? And so that's what we are looking for. Is it free or almost free of errors? So that's means punctuation, capital letters, spelling, making sure you're asking for help if you need it when you are spelling those letters or using all of those strategies that we learned in reading. Is it neat, legible, and appropriate to medium? So that just means when you get to your final, what we call your published writing, that it is neat and legible. It means your teacher can read it. If your handwriting is too sloppy, your teacher can't read what you're writing about. So, boys and girls, this is what we consider a excellent, or a score of a 4. So, I'm gonna take Lee's letter back up. Remember Lee's letter? And we call this an expert model because guess what score Lee earned? She earned a 4 because she had all of these, what we call traits in her friendly letter. So if we were reading this letter, do we know Lee's purpose? Remember we talked about this yesterday. We do. Her purpose was to write a hello letter to her friend because her friend, who's her friend? Shelby, moved away. And as we were reading, remember we talked about all the different type of sentences that she used. And she actually had 3 paragraphs. So she first talked about a memory of them going to the lake, right? And then she went into sharing her new school and how it's different from her old school. And then she talked about how they can still be good friends, and she wants Shelby to write back and to send her silly drawings, and that's how I know she was closing. So we knew that her story was getting to the end, and then she included her closing, which was your friend, and then she added her signature, which is her name at the bottom. So boys and girls, Lee earned a score of a 4, and that's why we use her writing as an expert model. So this is what second graders or second grade writing should look like. And guess what? I'm gonna help you with that, boys and girls, so don't worry. All this week, we're gonna go through the writing process. I'm gonna help you become a great writer and to earn a score of 4. So don't forget to come back tomorrow so that we can continue our learning. And don't forget, if things get too hard, what do we say? We just say, I'm smart. We can say, I can do it, because boys and girls, you can do hard things. I know you can, because Mrs. Vang believes in you. And guess what? I have a quick shout out to my friends at Erickson and Mrs. Cortella's class. They invited me to join them, and I wanted to say hi to them, especially a big shout out to my friend Annabelle, who really helped me in that class. So hi, Mrs. Cortella's class. Don't forget to join me next time. Bye-bye.
Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.